Hey NFL fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor here for the past 35 years in Las Vegas. And this is your Gary Wins videos, and this is your Thursday night NFL Week 16 primetime TV game to kick off our first game of the week for Week 16, and we have 3 weeks to go in the NFL season. So a lot of playoff spots still up for grabs, and this game has multiple implications, as this is just a division game, but also a key game in the AFC. We have the Denver Broncos traveling to LA to take on the Chargers. The Chargers a 2.5-point favorite. The total is 42. The Broncos 4-3 on the road. The Chargers just 4-3 at home. And these two teams are going in opposite directions, folks. The Denver Broncos are red hot. 4 straight victories coming into this game, whereas the Chargers are starting to lose some steam as the offense has been deflated of late. And the Chargers now back-to-back home losses. The offense is sputtering, scoring exactly 17 points in 3 straight games. And for Denver, a win in this game, and they clinch a playoff spot. This is a team that pretty much everybody had winning 3-4 games this year. This is really the story of the year in the NFL as far as surprises go. Bo Nix has been really good after that first couple of games. He got his feet wet. He has stepped up. Sean Payton's done a much better job coaching. You don't hear a lot of racket going back and forth about him like they did last year. So that off-the-field drama has been gone as well. And this game opened at 3 with the Chargers. So a little bit of money coming in by the Sharps early on Denver. Now, this is the second time meeting because these two teams met up earlier in the season, and the Chargers went into Denver and beat them 23-16. In that game, Denver Broncos quarterback Bo Nix was 19 for 33 for 216, 2 touchdowns and an interception, and he even rushed it for 61 yards, but it was not enough. Now, of course, for the Nix kid, from games 3 to 12, he only had 2 interceptions, which is absolutely phenomenal because balls get tipped, things happen. It's not even that you always make automatic bad decisions or bad passes by quarterbacks. Receivers will bop the ball out of their own chest into the opposing defense's hands. You get an interception. So 2 interceptions for a young kid for that long a stretch was great. But recession to the mean checked in here on this kid, and he's got 5 interceptions the last 2 weeks. Now, they've been lucky to win both. Last week's game is a miraculous win because they got dominated by the Colts, but they were aided by a dumb play by the running back for the Colts, dropping the ball 1 inch before the goal line and not scoring. That would have been pushed them even further behind. Instead, they were able to come back and win. And if you look at just the final score, it was by a comfortable margin, but it wasn't because they had under 200 total yards of offense. Now, Nix, like I said, since he's been able to get in a groove and they can trust him to throw the ball and not turn the ball over, he's no longer a running threat, which is really surprising that he prospered. It caught up to him the last 2 games, though. I'm interested to see how this works out against the Chargers defense, which has held up this team all year long. Both of these teams are tied scoring points defense in the NFL, 17.6, number 1, both of them. So they give up the least amount of points. Points could be scarce in this game if there's no turnovers. Now, the good news for the Denver defense, coming in on a short week, you always got to be nervous, but the team didn't play excessive minutes last week, even though, again, they won easy. They were dominated on the field for the most part, but the legs aren't going to be tired. That helps. They only played 28 minutes on the field last week. But the defense, what scares me is that they gave up a lot to a young rookie Richardson quarterback, but they gave up 552 total yards to Cleveland 2 weeks ago. And that's the only real good offensive outputting showing that Jameis Winston had, and he torched them. That was a clinic, and they couldn't stop anything, any play, which is really surprising because early on in the year, I gave the Denver Broncos defense as the most underrated in the league, and they carried me for a while. But the last couple weeks, maybe, they're just getting a little tired overall. I don't know. But a month ago, the Chargers were 7-3. Looked like a surefire playoff spot. 1-3 now, their last 4 games. Back-to-back home losses to Atlanta and Baltimore. And that Atlanta loss looks worse now, how badly they're playing. But last week, I bet the LA Chargers over 24, one of my NFL Sunday bets. They had 17 points at halftime. They did not score 1 point in the second half. I lose that bet. But the worst part about it is the last 4 possessions, fumble, stopped on downs, and then interception. So they were really, it was worse than you even imagine. They got outscored 27-0 on their home field to Tampa Bay, a team that I actually like. I'm happy with the Baker Mayfield and the progress of that offense especially. But when you couldn't score on that defense, that worries me. The Tampa Bay defense gave up a lot of yards almost every week this year. Now, the strange part of the offense not clicking for the past month has been they've been using more play action to get Herbert out of the pocket. Because the problem is the reason why they're losing and the offense is sputtering. The offensive line for the Chargers right now is absolutely abysmal. They are getting this kid killed, and he's got to run for his life. He's not really a running quarterback, but they upped it about 15% of the time, and they're still not able to do a whole much. They really have one key wide receiver threat. McConkey's been hurt, but he's playing. He still gets his targets. He gets his catches, but it's amazing. Herbert, 3 touchdown passes, folks, in the last 4 games combined. You're not going anywhere. This guy's supposed to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He ain't nowhere close to that. They're 25th in scoring on offense. His high passing game for the last 4 games is 218. He's had 2 games just barely over 200 and 2 games well under 200. That's not going to get you in the playoff race here down the stretch the final 3 weeks. And the offensive line's going to have to play better, but sometimes it just doesn't. You just don't click your fingers and this just works. If your offensive line is really good like Detroit's, it'll continue to be good. If it's bad, you really don't always pick up the pieces. You just keep getting your quarterback sacked a lot. So when we look at the LA Chargers offense, okay, the defense is what's carrying this offense. Number 1 defense, like I mentioned earlier, in scoring defense. So they're giving them a chance. They don't have to get crazy. They don't have to try crazy stuff. The coach Harbaugh is not really a guy that does that anyway. He's a run-first guy. The problem is when they lost their first-string running back, the backup Edwards, they're just not getting a push on offensive line for run game, pass game, helping pass block. Nothing's working really right now, and that's setting the offense back 10 steps behind. Again, this defense for the Denver Broncos allowing only 17 points. They're going to have to regroup themselves because the last 2 weeks haven't been too good. It's ugly. I was given some bad grades on the tape. I don't even want to read them off. But they do come in red hot. They've won 4 straight games, and they have a revenge for the earlier loss, so you know they're going to be prepared. You wonder, it's a young team. Now they know 1 win and they're in. Is that going to catapult them to a great effort, or they get a little nervous trying to get that win? They still have 3 weeks. They're going to get that win, but it could catch up to them in this game on the short week on the road. Again, the LA Chargers, they still have a 2-game lead over the Colts. They're going to get into playoffs unless a disaster happens here. So they're not going to be overly nervous and have to, do crazy things. This game should be tight to the vest on both sides. Play it out, chess match all the way through. Might not be the most exciting game unless you see a lot of turnovers. But the fact is, a win here for Denver puts them to 9-6. You got to tip your hat to this Payton and company. Bo Nix has been tremendous. They hit the lottery with the choice there with him. He looks like the future's bright, and they saw that they don't have to run him as much as they did. See, that's where the Giants got away from things, running too much with Jones, and it backfired. This hasn't, because they're doing the right thing. Let him go back there. Let him learn how to read the defenses. He's been doing a pretty good job up until the last 2 weeks. Again, 5 interceptions. Alarm bells are going off in my head, that's for sure. Now, Denver has won 3 of the last 5 meetings in LA against the Chargers, and Denver have a very impressive 11-3 against the spread, tops in the NFL this year. It's a very tough game to bet. I'm passing this game. I'm not even giving you a prop bet because I dug and I couldn't find anything. But bet at your own peril. There's much better games ahead. There's a lot of bowl games this week. enjoy this game. Hopefully this preview helped you a little bit. Probably not. But the bottom line is check out all my other videos for the bowl games. I'll have a Sunday night preview with a prop pick, a Monday night preview hopefully with a prop pick, and we'll give you a preview on the top bowl games, especially the Notre Dame game on Saturday and the two bigger games on Friday and the two bigger bowl games on Saturday. We're going to have previews of each and every game on a lot of the marquee bowl games. Not all these bad ones, but on all the big ones. We'll try to get you at least a little bit more prepared. And bookmark us at Gary Wins Videos. Hopefully you have all winners this week. Have a happy holidays. Please, folks, drive safe out there. Don't drink and drive. Get a driver for yourself or whoever's driving in your group, and make sure that he doesn't drink so you get home safe and sound. And happy holidays to everybody.